Yeah.
You can have a seat, Ms. Kanarek. You remain under oath. All right, cross-examination, Mr. Blinkus.
Good afternoon, Ms. Kanarek.
Good afternoon.
Are you currently suing Michael Barisone?
Yes,
You're claiming millions of dollars in damages, correct?
I don't know the amount of money that we're claiming, but certainly for damages.
You basically want to take everything of value away from Michael Barisone in that lawsuit, correct?
I just want him to cover medical expenses and answer for the crime he committed in a civil court of law.
And also get money, correct?
If that ends up being a result of the suit, I guess that's the result, that's not the goal.
And all of that, and correct me if I'm wrong, is based on the fact that he shot you on August 7th, correct?
That he tried to murder me, yes.
Isn't it a fact that you, your boyfriend, and your father were planning on suing Michael Barisone prior to that?
Not that I recall, but I don't remember what we'd be suing him for prior to that, other
Do you
than,
recall talking to your dad about suing him for approximately $200,000?
I do not, but I don't recall that actually.
Is it your sworn testimony that as you sit here today, you have no recollection prior to the shooting of talking to either your boyfriend or your father about suing Michael Barisone?
It is my sworn testimony that I, at this time, do not recall that, especially amounts of money.
Now, did you have a plan to destroy Michael Barisone?
At some point, yes.
And isn't it a fact that you made a specific threat saying that you intended to destroy everything Mary Haskins loved and held dear?
At some point, yes.
You made that statement for both Mr. Barisone and Ms. Haskins to hear, correct?
Correct.
And would you agree with me that you set out on a mission to try to do that, correct?
At a certain point after being bullied, correct.
There's been testimony here that no one ever really asked you to leave. Were you asked?
Wait, Mr. Blinkus, you can't refer to other testimony to this witness. Strike that. Just ask a question of this witness, please.
Isn't it a fact that you were asked to leave in July?
No, I was not asked to leave in July.
How about April 27th, 2019, where you basically told time to leave?
Judge, can we clarify who was purportedly telling her that?
Did you have a conversation with Michael Barisone?
I had a conversation with Michael Barisone, Mary Haskins, my father, and my boyfriend in a meeting that I called, to which Mary Haskins began that meeting with, "Y'all need to leave." So yes, that would be correct, I guess, in the way that you asked it.
And when you were told you all need to leave, did you start taking steps to pack up and find another place to stay?
No,
Now, at that point in time, would you agree with me that things have turned sour between you, your boyfriend, and everyone at Dressage stables?
I would not agree at that point in time, no. Since Michael, in that meeting, told his girlfriend many times to, I'm just quoting here, so please don't mind the cursing, to please shut the fuck up and not speak again. This is a business arrangement, and she should not be making any kind of assertions such as you need to leave or whatever. So that was the end of that conversation.
Now, when did the problems start to occur?
I would say they started to occur somewhere in the area of maybe July-ish, I want to say, maybe a little earlier, but July would be probably more accurate to when I started
So
noticing.
July, approximately a month before the shooting, correct?
Approximately.
Now, have you ever lied to either the Washington Township Police Department or the Morris County Prosecutor's Office about this case?
Not that I recall.
Have all your statements that you made to them been truthful?
Yes.
Have you hidden anything from them?
No.
You gave a statement December 5th, 2019 to the prosecutor's office. Do you recall that?
No, I'm sorry. Can you actually repeat the question? I missed the date.
Sure. December 5th, 2019, you gave a statement to the Morris County Prosecutor's Office with regards to this case, correct?
December 5th, 2019. Okay, probably yes. I don't remember the dates, but
Almost 4 months after the shooting, correct?
okay, yes, then probably yes.
Now, that is the first time you gave them an official statement, correct?
I don't recall. I believe I spoke to them before that, but I don't remember.
That approach good?
Yes.
Recently, in preparing for trial, you were played your video of this transcript, correct? And I'm showing you 200G.
Okay.
Was that a yes, you will play the video?
Oh, that was a question? I'm so sorry.
I think it was. Was that a question? Was you,
Yes, Judge.
yes,
Will
will
you
you
play
play
the
the
video?
video in preparation for trial?
The video
Of your statement.
of my
The tape
statement. Yes, I was.
Okay, and you went over that with the prosecutor, correct?
Correct.
Was there anything in that video statement that was inaccurate?
I can't remember it exactly. I feel like when I was telling them the amounts of shots fired, I feel like I said definitely 3 times, maybe the times a bullet shot. I couldn't really remember.
Didn't you say there were 5 shots?
I don't know what amounts of times I said. I know I said 3 shots were fired. I may have said 6 shots. I don't remember.
Okay, so a few months after the incident, when you talked to the prosecutor in official capacity, your recollection is 3, 4, 5 shots, as good as you can remember, correct?
Yes. I guess so, yeah. I'd just been shot a few months before, so I was just giving a statement as to what I recalled.
Okay. And your recollection is a little bit different today, correct?
Yes.
Now, before you gave that statement, you had talked to your boyfriend numerous times about the incident, correct?
Correct.
And you talked to your father about the incident, correct?
Yes. Correct.
Was Robert Goodwin in the room when you gave that statement to the prosecutor?
I don't think so.
Now, would you agree with me that in your original statement, you said that you had a problem remembering the incident? Did you say that?
In my, I'm sorry, in my original statement,
To the prosecutor's office, the ones that's
On
right
this-
in front of you?
I'm sorry, I'm just confused. I'm not sure that this December 5th was the first time I gave a statement. And there was some,
Judge, can I just clarify for the record, the interview occurred on September 5th, 2019. I think
not
the
December.
transcript says December 5th, 2019, so there's a typographical error there, but certainly the recording itself indicates it was September 5th.
What's the date, counsel?
September 5th, 2019. I think that may be
Right,
causing the
it
confusion.
may be.
All right, I apologize. This is what was given to me.
It's no problem.
September 5th, 2019.
Yes,
Was the first time you talked to the prosecutor's office?
yes.
Do you recall telling the prosecutor at that time that it's a bit shady in my mind, or words to that effect?
Honestly, I was on a ton of pain medication. I had just come out of the ICU. I honestly don't know what I may or may not have said, even if I've watched the video. I honestly don't remember what I said in that interview.
Can you please turn to page 4?
Sure.
Line 12, and ask you if that refreshes your recollection as to whether or not you indicated a month or so after the incident that you were a bit shady as far as your recollection of the event.
I'm so sorry, I can't find where you're talking. Line 12
Page
says,
4, lines,
that's okay from Detective Rogers. Making sure I'm on.
What page is it,
four
Mr.
here.
Blankus?
4, Judge.
Page 4?
Oh, so, okay, no, but I see it now, it's labeled a different way. So this is actually page 3. So this is page 4, line 12. Detective Rogers starts with an 11, speak up as much as you can.
Line 11, Miss
Wait, let me
Kanarek.
see.
Okay, so some of it,
Okay, line 12, wait, 10, 11, 12, shit.
they're
Okay.
numbered on the left-hand
Yes,
portion.
I see, just the page numbers are in different areas. Okay, sorry, continue.
Does that refresh your recollection as to whether you told them, with respect to the incident, it was a bit shady in your mind?
Probably, yes.
Do you recall telling them words to the effect that after the shooting, you went somewhere?
No, I don't recall telling them that I went somewhere.
Can you look at page 4, line 14? Did you tell them words to the effect? There were parts of the
Let
story,
him finish.
there were parts of the story like, where'd you go? Like, I don't even know, like I disappeared.
Yes, that would be accurate.
You told the prosecutor's office on that day that supposedly after you were shot, you disappeared somewhere.
Correct, like mentally, like I mentally disappeared. That would be accurate, yes.
Your testimony is that by the word disappeared, you meant mentally?
I mean, I could read it, but yes, I could read it out loud if you'd like,
No, just,
whatever you want me to do.
Read it to yourself and make
No,
sure.
he's asking, I guess, what did you mean when you said, back when you gave that statement, What did you mean when you said those words? That's what he's essentially
Yeah,
getting at.
I think when I said those words, I meant, what I thought I was saying was, I think I went somewhere or something, like in my mind, like I spun around in a circle, or, I wasn't like fully aware of I was aware of the fact that I'd just been shot, but also still thinking like, maybe this isn't real. So like I wasn't in my mind in the proper place, is
Okay,
what,
so as you sit here today,
yes.
at any point in time, either before or after the shooting, did you run off to the side or around the house?
I never ran around the house. Like I said a moment ago, if anything, I may have ran around in one small circle, just kind of assessing myself, but no further, nothing else.
But you never disappeared?
No.
Physically,
No.
is my specific question.
Yeah, no.
Now, you indicated at some point in time with your relationship with Michael Barisone, you decided or set out to try to destroy him, correct?
At some point, I'm sure I mentioned that or said that.
You wanted to ruin his business, correct?
I think finally, yeah, that was in my mind.
And you wanted to ruin and destroy his girlfriend, Mary Haskins, correct?
I guess, yeah, after what they were doing to us, that thought had crossed my mind also, yes.
Okay, now, when you say what they were doing to you, the problem, and correct me if I'm wrong on direct examination, where things started to deteriorate is when you weren't being trained by Michael Barisone, correct?
I wouldn't say that when things started to deteriorate. It was part of it, but not the entirety.
What were some of the other parts?
Just things here and there, small lies being told, bullying.
When you say bullying, what exactly do you mean?
I mean,
Who bullied you?
On one occasion, Michael jumped out at me in the dark, started screaming at me and spitting in my face. And at that moment, I didn't know whether he was going to try to hurt me or, I don't know, do something to me.
When was that?
So when is that? Or
Yeah, when was that?
that was sometime around the time that they were no longer living in the house and in the barn. So he was like waiting for me to come up there.
Did you ever tell anybody or call the police?
I posted on Facebook, I'm being bullied by a 6'3" man to the point that I'm afraid, and some other thing. I wrote about it.
And with regards to Facebook, I'm looking for your, with regards to your Facebook account, you were posting things daily, correct?
Correct.
And a lot of those were about Michael Barisone and Mary Haskins, correct?
Correct.
And would you agree that some of those things could be considered threatening?
Yeah, I could agree to that.
Like, your use of the terms with regards to a chess game. Do you recall saying things like the king will be killed, the queen will be sacrificed?
I don't know, honestly, I was talking about a chess game and it might have been an analogy, but
But the analogy was towards Michael Barisone and Mary Haskins, correct?
most certainly.
And you also used metaphors at times, correct?
Correct.
And you did that, you know, to what, try to protect yourself by not using names?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
You used metaphors, correct?
Yes,
And for instance, in one instance, did you use the metaphor where you talk about Michael Barisone as the king and Mary Haskins is the queen?
I honestly don't know who I was referring to as being who, but I'm certain that was about the both of them.
Yeah. On July 14th, prior to this meeting where the base Mary Haskins tells you to get out, do you recall posting a extremely long post where you're talking about a king and a queen and your relationship with them?
Wait, I'm sorry, you started out with, on July 14th, prior to, I'm sorry, can you repeat the question? I'm so sorry.
I'm going to show you what I'm referring to here. I'm going to show you 200A-14.
Sure. I'm not sure where the date is of this.
This is from your Facebook account, and there's a date up top that says 7/14/2019. Lauren Kanarek reacts to a post from July.
Oh, yes, okay, I see. And the highlighted is what I wrote?
I'm going to ask you some questions about
Okay.
this. You're familiar with this post, correct?
Well, I am now. I wrote it, so I'm familiar with it on my page.
And would you admit that it's pretty scary if you're talking about the person that you're talking about here?
Judge, I think that calls for
Yeah,
speculation.
speculation.
Okay.
Just ask her about the post.
When you talk about the adulterous king lured by a peasant of no merit, no credibility, and ousting the rightful queen in the most humiliating way in front of a large audience, who is the king you're referring to?
Probably Michael.
Probably?
Yeah, I'm assuming I'm not referring to his ex-wife Vera,
Right.
so therefore it would be Michael.
And who is the new queen you're referring to?
Mary Haskins.
And did you call her the most dumb-witted commoner, village idiot, would suit her perfectly, known in all the land? She is not royal blood. She has no regal talent or talent whatsoever. Did you say those things about
Yes.
Mary Haskins?
Yes.
Others refer to her as the queen of lies and deceit. I, myself, have not found it necessary to refer to her at all. Did you say at some point, referring to her, that she herself could never possess the talents that the wife did? she was blinded and paranoid with jealousy and the thought of the king realizing her true nature, she began executing all the younger and fairer maidens of the kingdom.
Yes, you're asking me if I wrote that?
You wrote that?
Of course, yes.
And you're referring to Mary Haskins, correct?
Yes.
Now, you were aware that Mary Haskins, Michael Barisone, and pretty much everybody at the stables were following your Facebook account, correct?
I had no idea what anybody was doing at the stables regarding my Facebook account. Other than maybe Michael on an occasion one time said he saw a post, but other than that, no.
And when did he say that?
Sometime while I was training with him. It might have been shown to him by a girlfriend, or maybe he saw it on his own. He actually complimented it. It was
He
something.
complimented it?
Not this post, a post at some point, and he was just like, I agree with something that you wrote, and other than that, I have no idea what he does with his Facebook account, or what he reads, or who shows him what.
Did you also say in this post, sadly, the once fearful and formidable king, Michael, had been transformed into nothing more than a slight memory of his glory days, with less and less tales to tell of conquering than ever before. Did you say that?
Yes.
Did you say a man made small and nearly worthless without his queen by his side?
Oh, yes. I wasn't sure if you were finished. Sorry.
And did you also say the more frail the king became, the easier it also became for the imposer, wannabe queen, to whisper lies into the king's ears? Did you
Yes.
say that?
Yes.
And you were referring to Michael and Mary Haskins, correct?
Correct.
Judge, just so the record is clear, it says imposter.
I apologize, I read it.
All right. The record shall so reflect.
Lies she hoped would rid every maiden, young and old, of true royal blood, and with varieties of talent from the kingdom forever. Were you suggesting that Mary Haskins was trying to destroy the careers of all the young people at the stables?
Yes.
Did you then say at some point, failure to abide by his agreements with other royal houses invite open war and inevitable destruction?
Yeah. I posted it.
You were basically declaring war on him, correct?
I wouldn't go that far.
Well, there were certain agreements that you claimed that he didn't honor with you, correct?
Correct.
And this post was referring to those agreements, correct?
I mean, yes, it's also a reply to a comment that mentions things like royalty and other things, so there's parts that I honestly don't know what I'm talking about, but it was written by me, so it's there. Yes, I wrote it.
Did you say, unfortunately, what's IQC mean?
I don't know. I'm not sure where we're seeing this.
Did you say, unfortunately, IQC, imposer's queen commoner, used the king's diminished state to quietly convince him to ignore all treaties?
I have no idea, because I have no clue. Oh, IQC. There actually is a thing for that. I'm sorry, could you read that again, just so I know exactly?
First, do you know what
Right.
ICQ means?
Yeah, I see it. I put it in parentheses.
And what does it mean?
Air brackets. It means, I just saw it. I will get to it. Imposter queen commoner.
did you then say the queen on the glass throne isn't a queen?
Yes.
She is hardly more than pond scum attached to the boot after trudging through a puddle. Did you say that about Mary Haskins?
Yes. You did.
Now, you realize that Mary Haskins was his girlfriend, correct?
Correct.
Did you think if he saw that post that would cause an issue with regards to you staying and training at his facility?
Wait, I'm sorry, I just want to make sure I have the question right. You're asking if I thought,
If he saw this, whether it would cause an issue with him continuing to train you and allow you to stay at his facility?
I don't know, but I thought really hard about it or the consequences. I just kind of wrote it,
He just threw it out there.
basically.
Did you then say, her open attacks on me will not result in the execution as it did for the maidens fairer than she without any counsel to fairly protect them? Did you make a statement like that?
I'm guessing if it's there, yes. I'm saying I wrote these posts, so yes.
And did you end it by saying something to the effect, but all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again?
Yes.
And that the castle would come crumbling down. Did you say that?
Yes.
And the castle you were referring to was his business, correct?
I honestly don't know what I meant. I don't know.
You have no
Again, I
idea
was just writing-
what you meant when you wrote this. Is that your testimony?
That's my testimony. I have no idea what parts or pieces of each micro thing I was referring to. It's social media. I wrote stuff. That's what I did.
Okay, and did you make a statement at the very end, words to the effect, I sure hope my wrath is never called upon? Did you say that?
Yes.
Judge, could I ask for completeness pursuant to the rules of evidence that the next line be read?
Judge, if he's asking that, I would ask that the entire thing be published to the jury.
You have redirect.
That's fine,
You can
Judge.
do it on redirect.
That's fine.
Mr. Belinka's brought it up, and if you want to bring in other portions of it, you can do so. That's why we have redirect.
Now, you were also posting things about your mental instability on Facebook, correct?
Not that I recall. Not seriously, anyway.
When you say seriously enough, did you make specific mention of you having serious mental problems?
I do recall one specific post.
Which one was that?
It was a post sometime, I don't know when I wrote it, but it was a post in reply to my cousin, which the gist of the post was fear, and I discuss hiding in a bunker, or needing to hide in a bunker. But prior to stating that, I say something along the lines of, I have mental, I'm trying to think of what the words were.
Multiple?
Yeah, multiple personalities. I don't know what they're gonna do if they're threatened, which is actually like a little bit of assumed knowledge on the part of the person I was sending it the message to. I thought she knew the situation and that would understand that I was referring to Michael's behavior of acting one way one day, one way the next day, and I just was writing it and assumed that she had more knowledge of that whole thing than she did. So to make sure, I then went on to say, we're so frightened that we're thinking of building a bunker to hide ourselves and maybe even can it fit horses? If you have the post, you could bring it up. If you'd like.
I plan on it, but
Okay. I was just saying. so
sure,
we
due
can-
time. So you do admit that at some point during this relationship, you posted something saying you had multiple personalities and you're not responsible
Mhm.
for your actions.
Yes, I did post that.
Did you ever post anything that you're a narcissistic and suffering delusions of grandeur, hashtag bipolar narcissist?
Possibly. But
Those are the types of things that you would say?
there's lots of types of things I would say.
Okay.
So, social media.
Did you make reference to weapons frequently?
Not that I recall, but I'm sure I mentioned that I own a gun. Sure I mentioned that New Jersey gun laws are very strict, and other states maybe that have gun laws that are very strict also, as they should be. Especially since I ended up getting shot by one of those very guns. So there's that, but I
Well,
guess
do you-
I
do you-
lost
do you
the
recall-
question.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Do you recall posting photographs on Facebook of you shooting your boyfriend's motorcycle because you were angry that he was riding without a
Judge,
helmet?
Yeah,
This is subject to a rule.
yes. Where are you going with that, Mr. Malenkas? Rephrase your question.
You
And please,
testified
hold on, and please keep your voice up nice and loud, okay?
Okay.
So all the jurors in the back
Okay.
have to hear you.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, Your Honor.
You testified on direct that you only owned one gun.
Correct.
Okay? Did you post that you have two 9mm Walters?
Yes, I did actually post that.
Did you lie about how many guns that you possessed?
No, I was not lying about it. I was talking to a friend of mine who he and I frequently discuss politics and what have you. And in this discussion, what I was referring to was the gun that I had currently. I had also, at the same gun store, put money down on another gun, which I never went to go get. And instead of explaining like what would have been a 17-page thing, I just said, I have two guns. But that guy would certainly know that wouldn't be the case because I would have needed another permit to go get it. So in a simple sentence or two, I just said I have two guns, both Walters, which is technically true, seeing as though I did put money down to purchase that gun. I just never went to go get it. So
It's,
I didn't feel like explaining that on Facebook, so I
okay, so
didn't.
it's your understanding that if you put money down on something and don't pay for it completely and obtain it, that it's yours?
I mean, I guess that's the concept of putting something on layaway or things like that. So
When
that
did
was
you
my
put-
interpretation. Yes.
Right. When did you put that on layaway?
Sometime around the same time that I went to go do the whole process of purchasing and actually obtaining the first weapon.
Did you post that you have a 9mm under your pillow?
I don't remember. It's possible.
Now, with regards to your statements concerning owning two guns, both Walters 9mm pistol, one takes 18 in the mag and one in the chamber. The other is small enough to fit in my purse. I haven't cleaned it in a year.
Yeah. I was actually referring to the one I had, not the one I didn't have yet. But yes, I wrote that.
Which one is the one that holds 18 in the magazine?
The one that I actually have possession of, and I'm pretty sure it's 17 now that I checked it like recently.
In that same post,
Yeah, I think, I don't know.
which is on August 4th, 3 days before the shooting, did you say words to the effect that if someone were to punch me in the face, I'd let them twice? After that, their second hit advantage would be over until they begged me to let them up.
Probably, but something sounds unfamiliar about that. Could you maybe read the few lines preceding that? Or like maybe however many lines there are, just a few lines that right
Sure.
before that so I know.
I haven't cleaned it in a year. Hashtag fail. Unfortunately, or luckily, we both live in North Carolina. New Jersey is crazy gun laws. You could be arrested to do time for just having one bullet. Mine are mostly hollow points, which just one is a potential of 10-year sentence, even if it's loose and sitting on the floor.
That couldn't be the post, because that post, where after it says luckily, it says, I'm not a violent person.
Right, that's
You didn't read that just then, so I was confused. You read that
okay.
sentence was confused.
I'll read the whole thing.
Yes, please do. Thank you.
Potential 10-year minimum sentence, even if it's loose and sitting on the floor. Also, luckily, I'm not a violent person. I hate confrontations, which seem they could turn violent. That said, if someone were to punch me in the face, I'd let them twice. After that, their second hit advantage would be over until they begged me to let them up. Hashtag self-defense.
Yes, that's the correct post. I did write that.
And so you were telling whoever had access to your Facebook post that you own two different guns, correct?
Correct. And that I wasn't violent, but yes.
Now, were you posting things with regards to your experience using guns?
Probably.
For instance, that your ex-husband owned a gun shop and you shot pretty much every gun there is.
Yeah. It's fair to say.
Did you brag about being a better shot than your boyfriend?
Probably.
And did you say at one point, with regards to your gun, that you only need 3 bullets? My aim is nearly perfect.
I don't know. Could you read that? That's, I have no idea.
Judge, can we be heard at sidebar?
Yes, I think we should. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the objection was sustained, and before we go any further, I do have to give a limiting instruction on some of the testimony you heard. You heard me mention earlier, I think after openings, that there were some uses for evidence that are allowed by the jury and some uses that are not allowed. And I'm going to go through all this again at the end of the case when I give my main charge, and I'll give some references at that time to specific evidence and how you can use it. Now, this evidence about Ms. Kanarek owning a firearm was allowed in by the court for a limited purpose. And that purpose is, as it may have affected Mr. Barisone's state of mind at the time of the shooting. That's why it's allowed in. If it's shown that Mr. Barisone had knowledge of these postings, you may or may not consider that as evidence of his state of mind. It's entirely up to the jurors. But it's not introduced to somehow attack the character of Ms. Kanarek. It's not introduced as character evidence. It's only introduced for a limited purpose of how those postings may have impacted the state of mind of Mr. Barisone. That's the only reason the court has allowed the introduction of this evidence regarding Ms. Kanarek's possession or ownership of a firearm. All right, and I'll address it more at the end of the case. All right, please proceed, Mr. Belinkas.
Ms. Kanarek, did you refer yourself as John Wick in any post?
Maybe,
Who is John Wick?
some like, of Keanu Reeves.
It's a violent person?
I think it's a matter of perception. You could say that, I guess.
Did you pull an objection?
Mr. Belinkas. Belinkas.
Were you posting in numerous posts statements with regards to going to war?
Yeah.
Did you say things like, if war cannot be avoided, then the victorious warrior must hashtag win first, hashtag then go to war, or words to that effect?
Yes, I believe I was quoting some too, but I'm sure it's probably posted if it's hashtagged and posted.
With regards to your chess comments, did you make a statement? Every time I up my chess game, I always become reminded that it is those who obsess about protecting their queen, regardless of the outcome, who miss the hiding, look, and always fail. Did you say something like that?
Probably.
And you were talking about Michael Barisone protecting his girlfriend, correct?
Probably.
And in that same post, did you say,
Can I ask what date you're looking at, or page or something?
okay, this is July 12th, 2019, and at the end of that post, did you say, "The king has been captured and killed, and the whole entire castle comes crumbling down"? Did you say that?
Probably. And
that sometimes the queen must be sacrificed? Did you say that?
Yes.
So, will you admit, with regards to this post, you were talking about capturing and killing Michael Barisone, with use of metaphors, of course, correct?
I was definitely not talking about killing anyone. That'd be false.
How about sacrificing the queen? Was that Mary Haskins?
On a board of chess where a piece is knocked down or moved over. Sure.
On that same day, did you post something, "The beast hasn't yet met the napping beast inside me"?
Objection. Same objection, Judge.
Say it's a threat, Judge.
I'm sorry?
I'm saying because it's a threat.
No, I'll sustain the objection.
Now, during this time when you're making these posts, you're telling numerous people on Facebook that you're being bullied, correct?
Yes.
And you even tell them that you believe your life is being threatened.
That's correct.
Now, with regards to your posts, July 21st, 2019, after posting all these things, many of which we've just gone over, did you say something to the effect that you're never be bluffing, not unless you're prepared to carry it out? Did you say words to that effect?
I'm sorry, what date and what?
This is
When was this?
July 21st, a couple
Oh.
weeks before the shooting. Did you
Okay.
make a statement basically saying you're not bluffing, or words to that effect?
Maybe. I don't know what the context was, but
What page is that? Top right.
Oh. 1024.
Thank you.
And on July 21st, did you there again talk about what you're saying not being a bluff? And that no one with a brain in their head bluffs emptily, betting literally. You do and just did. Bye-bye, exclamation point. Did you say that?
yes, I always usually end off with bye-bye or bye-byes. So that makes sense.
When you say you normally end with bye-bye,
If to anybody, yes.
Now, on July 23rd, a couple days later, did you use the term weapons hot?
Yes.
July 25th, did you post a post? And this is when things are really starting to get crazy at the facility, correct?
Yes. I'm sorry, can you just go back to the post from a minute ago about?
I'm moving on, I have a
Oh,
lot to go.
okay, because something seemed strange with that, I wanted to.
On
just make
July
sure it was me.
25th, did you post, "I will be, it's about time to possibly go to war. Anyone who repeatedly kicks a resting beast will eventually wake her up."
Probably, yes.
On the 27th, did you say words to the effect, "This is me, look out, 'cause here I come"?
Yes, I believe I was quoting the circus movie with Hugh Jackman. It's like literally a song.
Did you say what page that was?
214. Now,
Maybe go there too.
you okay?
I'm just looking at the page that you said to look out, because here I come. But what page was that?
That's not in your.
No, I don't think that's
Oh,
in
I
there.
don't
He's
have-
looking at something completely
Oh, okay.
different.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
In fact, why don't you take that away so we don't
Okay.
have that mistake again and have her
Okay, yeah, I
looking,
wasn't
if
sure
you're not
if it was
referring
supposed
to
to
it.
Here we go. No problem.
Now, at some point, you start illegally recording private conversations, correct?
Objection.
Calls for a conclusion, Mr. Belenkus.
Did you record private conversations where you were not a party to?
Yes.
Now, at some point in time, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe on August 3rd, you tell the Washington Township Police Department that you've recorded secret conversations, correct?
Yeah, I told the police that I was recording things, yes.
But you also lied to the police about that recording, did you not?
I don't know in what capacity you're talking about, so, no. I would say no.
Did you tell the police that an attorney gave you permission to record?
I don't recall, but I was speaking with attorneys, and,
What attorneys were you speaking to?
I guess I could tell you their names, but I'm sure is privileged. Ed David, my father, who's a retired attorney. There's someone else, I don't know that they're involved this time. I don't remember, there was definitely somebody else, I believe, but certainly those two people. One is a current attorney, one is a retired attorney, and we discussed the location, what the expectation of privacy might be, the reason for which,
And the legality?
and the legality. Of course, it wasn't like a decided thing before a judge, but we discussed those possibilities so that we could avoid doing something illegal.
All right, so, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, is it your testimony that your father told you you could legally tape a private conversation that you were not a party to.
Objection. It's hearsay.
What's the basis for your objection?
It's hearsay.
It's not offered for the truth of the matter, Judge.
What's it offered for
It
then?
has to do with why she did this.
I'll allow it. Not for the truth,
Correct.
just her state of mind.
It's your sworn testimony that your father told you, a lawyer, that you can put a recorder someplace and record private conversations when you're not there.
No,
Is that it? Is that?
No, it's my sworn testimony that either my father or the lawyer that we had obtained expressed that it was their belief that the location in which the device was placed, and the reason for which it was placed there, seeing as though it was considered my property, was not breaking any laws. We specifically sought out this instruction or counsel to be sure that we were not going to be breaking any laws by doing this.
Okay, I'm asking
We
you.
weren't trying to
All right.
shoot anyone or kill them. We just wanted to do things the legal way.
I'm asking you specifically, was it your father?
She just said, that's asked and answered. She said twice now, either the father or the lawyer.
Okay, well, are you aware of the fact that I have a tape recording of the meeting between you, Robert Goodwin, your father, and your attorney, Edward David, where you're discussing tape recording?
I am not aware of what you have, but we had many conversations, so if you have a conversation, then you have a conversation.
I have a conversation.
No, Mr. Blinkus, you're not offering evidence.
May I be heard, Judge?
All right, let's take our afternoon break. Members of the jury, take 20 minutes.